All right, boys and girls. So today for our new word wall vocabulary word, we're going to learn about equivalent fractions, okay? So on Monday, we learned a little bit about equivalent fractions, and today we're learning more about equivalent fractions. So as I'm going through each of these squares today, I want you to make sure that you're pausing the video when I tell you to and writing the things down in your own squares, all right? So here we go. So equivalent fractions. What exactly is an equivalent fraction? Well, an equivalent fraction is just two or more fractions that represent the same part of a whole or set of objects are equivalent fractions. For example, when we had in our math message problem, there's two different pizzas, and we realized that the girls ate the same amount, even though that they divided their whole up differently. One divided it into two equal pieces, and the other divided into four equal pieces. They both ate half of their pizza. So the equivalent fraction is just two or more fractions that represent the same part of a whole or set of objects. So pause the video, and we'll go ahead and write down this definition into your Foursquare. All right, so I'm going to assume that you pause the video, you have that down. Let's think about what are some of the characteristics of equivalent fractions, okay? So the fractions will have different numbers for the numerator, but their values are still the same. All right, so you still might see different numbers there, okay? But they're still the same amount shaded, okay? So go ahead, pause the video, and get this down. All right, I'm going to assume that you got that first characteristic down. Let's go ahead to the second one now. So models or pictures will describe the same amount. So if you have a model, okay, think about the circles or your fraction circles. When we would show 1/2, okay, it's still showing that same amount, okay? So equivalent fractions are equal to each other. Pause the video and go ahead and write down this last definition here. Okay, I'm going to assume that you did that. Now let's look at some examples, okay? So I have two squares here. One square, this square, is broken up into 8 equal pieces. I can see that easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 equal pieces. This square over here is divided into 4 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the squares, I have the same whole. The squares are the same size. All right? In this square, I have 4 pieces or 4 sections shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4/8 of this square. 4/8 is equal to 2/4. Okay? You can see that I have the same amount shaded here. So I have 2 parts out of my 4 total parts here shaded, but it's still equal to 4/8 because I have the same amount shaded. And some of you might even realize that this 4/8 here is actually equal to 1/2. Okay, I have exactly half of both of these squares shaded. Let me see if I can draw that real quick. So I'm using my pen tool here. We're going to pretend that this square is the same size as those. And if I divide it in half, I have 2 equal parts now. And if I shade in one part, I can see that 4/8 is equal to 2/4, which is equal to 1/2. Go ahead and pause the video and get those examples down. All right, I'm going to assume that you paused the video, and I actually want you to pause the video again, and I want you to create your own example. See if you can fit in another example of 1/2 into this square here. Try coming up with your own. You can use your fraction circle pieces. You could use your fraction cards that you guys cut out today to help you if you need to, or maybe you can come up with one on your own. So go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm going to assume that you came up with your own. Let's go ahead now and look at my non-examples, okay? So here are my non-examples. In this box, I'm showing fractions that are not equivalent, that are not equal. So if we look here, I have the same squares that I had over here. This square is divided into 8 equal parts. I can see that by go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 equal sections, and I have 4 of those sections shaded. So I have 4/8. And this square over here, I have 4 equal sections. Okay, I've divided this square into 4 equal parts, just like over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this square, I only have 3 of those equal parts. Now you can see, if I'm comparing 4/8 and 3/4, I can see that they are not equivalent. They're not the same. I have more shaded over here than I do over here. So 4/8 is not equal, it's not equivalent to 3/4. When I say off you go, I want you to pause the video and I want you to get down the non-examples and come up with another example that is not equal to 1/2. So come up with another non-example. Okay, go ahead and do that. All right, boys and girls, so you should have all of this filled in. Now, if you have some extra time before you move on to your next center or your next activity, you can go ahead and make this look really pretty, okay? You can use some color to shade in your fractions. Maybe you're going to go over your words in a dark colored pencil, because I'm going to select one to put up on our word wall that's really nice and neatly done. So you can go ahead and do that. When you're done, go ahead and make sure your name's on it and put it in the math bin, and you can either continue with your fraction skills in Khan Academy, or you may practice your facts on multiplication.com. Those are your choices. Off you go.